Pete Moore on Halo Talks NYC. I'm in San Diego with club owner, operator, Scott Lutwak, Fit San Diego. Welcome to the show.
Local
And awesome. So we are downtown Gaslamp District. And the Fit Club is somewhat of an icon here outside of Petco Field. You've been out in San Diego, had a very successful run in the early days of the internet. How did you take your passion for fitness and turn it into a profession?
You know, it started with the vision. The vision was for the business first. The passion for fitness actually came later. I actually saw fitness as a business opportunity and pursued it as that first. And then it wasn't until I spent every day in the gym that I started really drinking the Kool-Aid and really starting to believe in nutrition and fitness and how it affects life.
So what's interesting about the way you look at the business, that we've known each other for a long time, is that you don't really look at the business from a lens of a fitness operator. Like, you weren't contaminated, if you will, by like, this is what the four walls of the club are supposed to be. And this is how I'm supposed to think about it. So you've come from definitely more from a hospitality, more from a consumer user experience. So kind of what framed how you think?
To be candid, my mantra is that I built Fit for myself. I just invite a few thousand of my closest friends to help pay the bill.
Wow. That's a big, so basically you're the architect of your own life.
I designed
living.
an environment that I wanted to spend my time in every day, and I did it for myself, and I just hoped that a couple thousand people would like my taste.
So what gave you the confidence that the way you think, that you thought 4,000 to 6,000 other people would be comfortable with that? Did you grow up being like, were you most popular in high school? Were you like a trendsetter? And this is important because I think a lot of people that design anything need to believe that what they think their design is something that other people, and it's not, nothing you do is a copy of something else. It's an evolution it's a step up from something.
Sometimes a blank piece of paper scares somebody, and sometimes it inspires somebody. And for me, I've always been able to see things in a space before it existed there. My imagination of what could be created in a space has always been there, mostly because I was daydreaming in class all the way through school and wasn't paying any attention, and was always imagining everything else I could do in that space besides pay attention to what they were talking about in school. But I'll share with you. So it was back in 2000, and I was going to have lunch with a friend of mine who was a real estate broker. And at the time, I was the CEO of Restaurant.com, had about 150 employees. We were doing about $25 million a year, and we were quite on our way. A friend of mine, we're going to have lunch, and he asked me if we minded if we stop at a location where he was looking to lease the space to someone who was looking to open a shoe store.
Wow.
And we sat there and we waited.
What city were you in?
In Houston. So we sat there and we waited for the guy to show up, and I walked around the space, and the guy showed up. My friend toured him around the space. We went to lunch. I called my friend the next day and I said, "Hey, is that guy gonna open that shoe store there?" And he said, "No." I said, "Someone should put a gym in that space." I said, "I've been looking for a gym in the Houston market and I couldn't find anything to
what kind of square footage?
It was 33,000 square feet. Wow. And so I called him back a day after that and I said, "You know what? How much is that going to cost? Can you send me a lease?" And a month later, I signed the lease, and I knew nothing about gyms. And
so, what was it that gave you the confidence to do that? It's part of the creative design process, and you felt like if there's demand on my end for this, there's got to be other people that think the way I do.
It was a culmination of things. I was riding a little bit of confidence at the time because Restaurant.com was doing very well.
Right.
But stepping back a little bit, I was living in Russia for 5 years, and a friend of mine in Moscow came to dinner one night and said, "I'm going to open a gym in Moscow." And there was no gym. All of us were always wanting a place to work out. And he goes, I'm gonna franchise a Gold's Gym, and I'm gonna open Gold's Gym Moscow.
Okay.
And a year later, he did. And 3 years after that, I worked out at his gym every day. And I saw
awesome.
a guy that knew nothing about gyms just decided, I'm going to open a gym. And he did it, and it was really successful. So I saw him do it. And when I was in Houston and I saw the space, I went for it. But the funny thing was I was going to franchise a brand too. I was going to franchise a World or a Gold's. And I was on the brink of signing a franchise agreement. And they were sending me all the logos of the ape and all that stuff, and I was just like, you know what? This just doesn't match my personality.
Right.
And so I went to I locked myself in a room, and I had 5 pages of names, and the very first name on the very first piece of paper was Fit. And I remember I called the equipment guy, that consultant that I had hired to help select all the equipment for the first location. And I told him I was going to abandon the World Gym franchise and open up under my own umbrella. And he said the name. He said, "What's the name?" And I said, "I'm going to call it Fit." And he goes, "That's terrible." He goes, "Wait, so I mean, the phone's going to ring and people are just going to answer the phone, Fit?" And I go, "Yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah."
The simplicity of the model.
And the beauty of it was a year or two later is how much he apologized for it and said, "Wow, I made such a
He's
mistake."
still your equipment guy?
He's not my equipment guy anymore. He works for the YMCA.
Who works for the YMCA? So when you take a look at what you built and the brand that you built, based on 3 letters that are very simplistic, but basically directly what people are trying to do, which is get fit, and also, a logo that is also simplistic but true to just. I feel like you've got a way of cutting through the jazz.
It's a category killer name.
It's a brand in and of itself, yet it doesn't look like a brand. It's like Coca-Cola. It's like Coke or like Nike.
It looks like it's supposed to be there. The great thing about it is that people wear the shirt when they travel, because it doesn't stand for a gym. It stands for a way of life.
Right.
It's fit. I am fit. Whether I kayak or I yoga or I run or it doesn't matter what I do, I am fit. So it's a statement. It's not a gym. I firmly believe that.
Just in case you didn't know I worked out, and just in case you don't know what's underneath this shirt, I'm
fit. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how you got here. Yeah. It just matters that you are fit.
I like it. So you started out with a location in Houston, came to San Diego, found probably the most iconic site that. How many people showed up today on buses to tour your club?
We had 8 buses yesterday.
8 buses.
We had 250 paid guests and 1,000 walkthroughs yesterday.
Wow.
Yes,
nice day.
Staff was very
nice day.
Very happy with that.
So now you got 3 locations in San Diego. You got 2 what I would consider iconic locations that you're building. One in Little Italy, one in Mission Beach at what used to be the Plunge, which is getting resurrected as a health club with a retractable roof, which I gotta believe is the only one in the country. And I haven't Googled that, but I'm assuming retractable roof, health club, United States, not many returns on that search.
Beach. This is true. I do not know of another one. We ran over budget a couple times, and we were trying to value engineer. And the first thing that I kept trying to get rid of was the retractable roof. But my partner in the project was insistent upon it.
If you want a retractable roof, you get a retractable roof.
Yeah.
Just deal with what the price is of that, I guess. So, as you look to the Fit brand, and this was back to 2000, so it's 18 years, and here we are with, 5 trophy assets in San Diego, which is clearly one of the nicest places to live in the country. People value being fit and care about their image and care about getting results. I was talking to a couple of people while we're here over the last couple of days, and they said, the issue with San Diego is not enough housing. More people want to live here than can actually physically live here. So as you look at Fit as a brand, where do you want this to be in the next 5 years?
One of the things that we tried to demonstrate with our expansion was how scalable the brand actually is. If you look at the downtown facility and the demographics and the way it was designed, it has one appeal, and it's been successful now for 10 years. The other two are out in the suburban areas, ones with 4 tennis courts and an Olympic-sized swimming pool and child programming. And this was our first experience with child programming and swim lessons and tennis and, trying to figure out how to monetize all of these things. And when we took over that club, it was losing $750,000 a year.
Right.
And last year, 3 years later, it was plus 350, 400. So it's been a learning curve, but it proves to the scalability of the brand in that we could go into any type of location that fits and make it work.
So when you look at new build and greenfield opportunities such as the Carte Hotel here down in Little Italy, and you look at Mission Beach, and really starting from this whiteboard or white piece of paper that you're talking about, if you get the whiteboard, you're going to build something that's going to be built to last. It's going to be iconic. So taking this and being the elite brand or the top brand, maybe, give me some brand analogies, if you will. Over the next 5 years, Fit is going to be one of the leading high-end, full-service, awesome places to work out, similar to.
We're trying to be a little bit in a category of our own, so I don't want to make that. I don't have a parallel.
Okay.
That I want to make a direct comparison to.
But high end and
high
aspirational, yet
high end and
inviting,
community based.
Right.
One of the community based programs that we have as an example is our Perks program. We have 400 local businesses in our Perks program. Every time a new restaurant or bar joins our Perks program, we host some type of event there for our members. Things like that keep it fresh.
Yeah, okay.
Keep everybody together.
So it's really outside of just the 4 walls of the club. It's a lifestyle. It's a community.
We also have a community outreach program. We run the kitchen at the city's homeless shelter down here. I think we've served over 1 million meals over the last 7 years.
Amazing.
7 days a week, we provide all the meals.
So how it's to kind of finish up here, and we'll continue this conversation later. But how good do you feel about what you were doing before and what you're doing now?
I think we're having the best year we've ever had. This is the most exciting time for the entire company, honestly. If it wasn't for the 2008. Honestly, the expansion plan where we are right now, where we are right now is where we were right before 2008 in terms of expansion, where our plans were for expansion. Mm-hmm. And then 2008 kind of came in and it just kind of hit the reset button.
Sure,
and we've been rebuilding since then.
So when you look at where you were to where you are now, and the confidence to say, I've got a platform company here. I've proven this in 3 different unique markets, adding to iconic locations. How does that make you feel just from an executive standpoint about potentially bringing on more capital and saying, look, I can go from 5 to 10, and that's kind of where I'm going. That's going to give the growth opportunities to my team, to my investors, to myself. At this point, you feel like, all right, we've got a well-polished machine, and we're ready to go.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we felt that way when we branched out here to San Diego. Then we got hit with the recession right there. Now we've rebuilt, and I think we've really farmed a great team. And, everybody that's, about 165 employees that are all poised for growth. And they're all real excited about all the things that are going on and are working endlessly to make sure that Fit is successful and that the members continue to get everything that they need out of the club.
That's great. Well, look, great work on what you've accomplished. I think after touring Mission Beach and Little Italy, can't be more excited about what that's going to provide to you as a brand, as a company, and look forward to those openings and continued growth up and down the coast.
Yeah, this time next year we can do it again from the
There we
rooftop
go.
of Mission Beach.
From the rooftop of Mission Beach to the retractable hanging roof that we'll be on, and I'll be plunging in with a waterproof remote and one of those Theraguns.
I look forward to it. I look forward to
All right,
it.
buddy.
Thanks, Pete.